What's going on, everyone? Updog here, back with another episode of everything you need to know about one of the brand new characters in the game. We got Man-Thing is out today, so I'm going to go over his ISO, his investment level, abilities, T4s, everything you need to know. So let's get into it here. Now, I do like to start with his passives first, because that kind of sets the groundwork for how the character works a lot of the time. And so now these are going to be without the T4s. That's why we'll talk about T4s at the end here. So for Man-Thing on spawn, if he has 3 or more Night Stalker allies, he's going to gain taunt and immunity. So if he has those characters, he's essentially a pre-taunt tank. Taunt and immunity is pretty powerful in and itself. And after any enemy turn, he's going to barrier himself for 10%. And if he's above 50%, kind of like, let's see, I think it's Pandapool does this in War. I know Zuggs can't be, I don't think he can be stunned at all, but basically if he's healthy, he can't be stunned. And if he drops below and he has taunt, he's going to clear taunt, and then he's going to gain stealth. So that's kind of like a Sasquatch type passive there. Kind of funny that they're both kind of supernatural creatures and they have the same kind of mechanic, which I like that a lot. And this is what everybody's been waiting for. Gain 5% speed, and Night Stalker allies get 5% speed. So the people have been complaining about how Night Stalkers have been pretty slow. This is definitely going to help. 5% doesn't sound like a lot, but I've been doing the numbers, and I'm going to be having a video coming out soon explaining some of the key matchups that we're going to be having in Crucible in that raid room, and showing, how the Night Stalkers are going to fare in that room. And then in raids for Man-Thing, he basically blocks immunity for protectors, and he cannot get ability blocked before he takes a turn. Well, actually, not just him. All Night Stalkers can't get ability blocked. So that's kind of like a Green Goblin passive there. And he's also got like a little bit of a kind of like a Mysterio passive as well. All good mixture of things into one passive. I like it a lot. So we'll go over the T4s after we go through all the abilities, and we'll see if this one's worth it. So now, on his turn 1, if you're manualing, he has an ult and a special available turn 1. So let's go over the ult first, and then we'll see which one, if you're going to manual with them, which one you should probably do first. So the ult is going to attack all enemies. You saw that animation at the beginning, really cool, like a wave of swamp, and he grows bigger and hits everybody. It's pretty cool. Prolong the durations of all negative effects, excluding ability block, stun, and trauma. So that's a little unfortunate, but extending everything is pretty nice. Oh, and he applies slow to everybody as well. So, and the 2 turns, usually that's part of the T4, but that is not part of the T4, so that's nice. In raids, he's going to clear Disrupted from himself, so if he does get Disrupt, that'll be nice to be able to clear it. Then that way he can gain the taunt for 2 turns and defense up. Not only to himself, but to the Night Stalker allies as well. So really good attack. It's a pretty high cooldown, but with the Night Stalker team, they have the energy generation from Oath, and so it shouldn't be too much of a problem to get that back throughout the raid node or in between nodes and stuff like that. So let's see if his special might be worth it turn 1. That turn 1 ult is pretty nice. So the special, attack primary and adjacents, apply slow again. So I love having slow, is like one of the most underrated debuffs in the game, in my opinion. So, and then clear negative effects from self and all Night Stalker allies. So already we have Blade on his special will clear some negative effects. Man-Thing clears negative effects. So good cleansing abilities there. And then another round of defense up on his special. So his ult and his special both give defense up, not only to himself, but to the Night Stalker team. So that's great. Now for his basic, he's going to attack primary target, Apply slow, apply bleed to anybody that's not Daredevil. Apparently, there's some kind of comic lore. If you know the comic lore between Man-Thing and Daredevil, let me know down in the comments, because I know hardly anything about the comics, so let me know about that. Gain regen, defense up again to the most injured non-summon knight. Smart sustain mechanic right there. And now, since his cooldowns are a little bit long, we may consider the basic, but we'll look at it here. So let's first look at the passive, though. Yes, so I did mention 5% speed is not very much. It does help a little, but when you combine that with the T4, this is definitely a highest priority T4, giving 15% extra speed to the Night Stalkers and himself. So that is definitely one you want to go for the T4 on the passive. Now, how about the ult and the special? So the ult is going to give a bunch of extra bonuses in raids. So it's nice to have. If you're going to use them in raids, then yeah, definitely do it. Outside of raids, the 80% damage is kind of nice, but it's not piercing. So I don't know. We'll see. Let's look at the special, and we'll see where that T4 falls here. But looking at the special, it definitely looks like it's a little bit more enticing to do T4 special over the ult. So it gets extra damage, and then if any target has slow, apply stun. Now that is huge, especially when he puts out slow to everyone on his ult. And then you get some slows from the other people on the team, the other Night Stalkers. That's definitely going to be huge. Stunning everyone with slow, you know, that's pretty big. That's almost as big as the passive. The passive is huge. The special is really, really good too. So definitely do those two. Let's look at the basic here. Extra 50% damage, gain 2 regen. I don't know. The ult and the basic. I think the ult's number 3, basic's number 4. You may want the basic. We'll have to see how it plays out in the raids and maybe in like War and Crucible and stuff, but definitely special and passive. The ult might be a luxury a little bit. We'll have to see how that plays out. The basic, a luxury too. Nice to have type of thing. So that is the breakdown on those abilities. Let's talk about ISO. So if you just get him at the base level unlock, I think Fortifier is going to be good. So that'd be 3 stars. If you get him at 3 stars, 3 and 4 stars, I think Fortifier is a really good option because he's getting barrier from enemy turns, and then he starts out with that barrier from Fortifier, so it just kind of builds up and up and up, and he should survive a lot longer. Now if you get him higher than the 3 and 4 stars, like 5 stars and up, I would go with Raider. I think Raider's a good choice because he does have AoE attacks and extra crit. It's either crit chance or crit damage, I think, from Blade, I think it is. So that'll be a good choice. Once he's a little bit bigger, he can take more hits. So that would be my recommendations there. Fortifier, small, Raider, big. And then investment level, I'm going to start off with this 95 Gear 18 level. I'll probably take him to 100 and 18. I mean, he is a tank. You want him to take hits, but the damage dealers on the team are going to be Oath and Blade. So you don't need him huge. You just need him to survive, take a couple hits, and give that speed from his passive. So, and the speed from his passive comes immediately as you spawn in anyway, so there you go. So that's all I got for Man-Thing. Hope you enjoyed, hope it helps, and until next time, make sure you spend those resources wisely, and we will see you around.